Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Strat Xtra. I'm your host and trusted advisor, Joe Williams. Today, we are talking UCaaS, CCaaS, and XCaaS with an industry legend, Mr. Alex Brickman from 8x8. Alex, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Joe. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. I wore my red and black just for you. Just
I
the
I
the
did
8x8
not,
colors.
but I'm representing nonetheless.
You are. I appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Alex, and what your role is over at 8x8.
So I've been in the industry 25 years now. Started out as a sales engineer. Been with 8x8 for the last 3 years, managing the channel and our partners here in the Great Midwest, Central region, if you will. Um, and have the privilege of supporting you and the Stratosphere team among some of those partners that position 8x8 for their customers' cloud communication solution.
Awesome. And we appreciate the support, sir. So thank you. And thank you again for joining us. So let's go ahead and jump right in.
Yeah,
When it comes to cloud PBX and or UCaaS and CCaaS, cloud contact center, I feel like 8x8 is always kind of been referred to as one of the 800-pound gorillas in the room. That said, what do you feel kind of makes you stand apart from some of the competitors or the other companies, if you will, that are very Googleable when you type in,
yeah,
cloud PBX or contact center?
yeah. I think one of the biggest things that really makes us stand out and differentiate is the ability to deliver this XCaaS platform. And XCaaS is experience communications as a service, right? And part of that is being able to deliver unified communications, contact center, meetings and collaboration over a single platform, right? Uh, but more importantly, being able to uh, extract information from each interaction, whether it be a meeting, a contact center engagement, or a UC call, have that loaded into artificial our AI engine, and at the end of the day, deliver a better understanding to our customers of what their customers' perception is of them, right? And how can they be better? And I think that's huge, other than just being able to cut costs, optimize cost centers, whatnot. Really delivering a better understanding of how your customers perceive you is a pretty strong statement to make, and we feel like we help our customers do that.
Awesome. And then from the technology perspective itself, I really like, how you kind of zoned in on the fact that it's all on one platform because, I mean, if you pull the others apart, a lot of times they're having to kind of bolt on the other solutions to essentially form one solution, right?
Sure, sure. I mean, I think what makes us what makes what we bring to the table so cool is, y- you know, as we all know, when a caller dials into an organization, uh, they could they could start off with a receptionist, be transferred to a specialist, go through perhaps a contact center, a portion of their organization, and when you're transferring that caller from one experience to another, a lot of times the information that that caller already shared is lost.
Hmm.
And I think one of the things that 8x8 really does very, very well is, regardless who you're speaking to or how you're transferred within the organization, there's context that goes along with every transfer, right? So whether a knowledge worker or a receptionist or an IT admin or supervisor is taking that call, they have the context and the notes that goes along with how that call started. And I think that's pretty huge as far as delivering a better experience for the end user, and at the same time delivering a better experience for the employees, make them all connected.
Hmm. Very much cradle to grave, right?
Very much so.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Talk to me a bit about 8x8's business and marketing goals for 2022. We just kind of talked about XCaaS. If there's anything else that you want to elaborate more on that, but another buzzword that we keep seeing is Fuse. I got an
Yeah.
email this morning that the deal is done.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
whatever you're able to
complete.
tell us, we're eager to hear about that.
we're still very much in the infancy stage and
Sure.
kind of seeing how things are rolling out. But from my perspective, one of XCAS is certainly a huge differentiator for 8x8, being able to, and being able to tout that we're looked upon as a Gartner leader in both the UC and the contact center space. Nobody else in the space can really say that, but we're also very strong globally, right? In the solution that we deliver globally. The acquisition of Fuse helps us there actually because they have an extremely strong presence in Europe, particularly France. So that makes us uh, even stronger across the pond with that acquisition. But what's most exciting for me is Fuse is renowned for their R&D. And that R&D team is coming along with the acquisition, and I think is going to accelerate some of the research and some of the uh, enhancements that we're always making to our product. 8x8 has always been an engineering organization. We have over 200 patents under our belt, and I think that culture and the development culture that we're picking up with Infuse is going to blend in beautifully with our organization.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah,
It's gonna make you guys the 900-pound gorilla in the room.
the thousand. Let's not end there.
Yeah, go big, right? Go
Yeah,
big.
go big or go home, Joe.
That's fantastic. All right, man, I appreciate that. Um, so let's go back in time a bit. Let's go back to 2020, right?
Yeah,
The pandemic hits. A lot of businesses were forced to shut their doors. Some rolled the dice, left their technology alone, and relied on legacy methods to stay afloat or communicate with their clients and their employees for that matter. Others pivoted and explored new cloud technologies from suppliers like you guys, and really embraced a hybrid or a full remote workforce. Fast forwarding to today, do you think hybrid and remote work is here to stay, or do you see folks heading back in the office as the pandemic potentially fades out?
yeah. That's a great question. From my perspective and what I've seen across a pretty wide breadth of customers and partners, um, is it organizations are coming back to the office in varying degrees. Um, some are fully coming back to the office, however, leaving the hybrid option open to their employees.
Mhm.
Right? Some and much more often than I expected are shutting down their corporate offices and having everybody stay remote and and continue onward as they have. So it's really been a mixed bag, but uh, but the fact remains that the hybrid workforce environment is not going away. It is not
Right.
going away. It's very much a reality. And again, how much organizations come back to the workplace has been quite varied from company to company.
Right. So how do you see 8x8 as a fit for kind of either of those scenarios that we just kind of discussed? I mean, if you want to get into a little bit of the feature set or some of the functionality of the platform itself, I mean, how would you see some of the things that 8x8 can do as a benefit to an organization if they decided to say, either go hybrid or fully remote or even just, full on back at the office?
Yeah. So what's cool about 8x8 is we're born in the cloud, developed in the cloud. We've always been a cloud communications organization, right? So for us, supporting a corporate office or individual users uh, at home is really one of the same. What makes us unique, again, is the fact that we're giving a company-wide tailor experience for all roles, right? Handoffs with context that I've already mentioned. Um, a single platform for provisioning and administration. Again, regardless of where users are sitting, where we're completely agnostic to that. We'll administer, support them just the same. And what's again really cool is that we can support those users and mix and match users of all sorts of different types, whether it be strictly UC users, analog set users in the manufacturer environment, or omni-channel contact center agents, right? We have zero, we really don't have a preference of or can support some, again, an individual user in a home environment versus a corporate environment. It makes zero difference to us. We're looking as an organization, a single instance, and it doesn't matter what anybody says, we'll support them the same way. Um, with that being said, we're also give 360 view of all interactions and cross platforms analytics within our system. And then at the end of the day, I think what really another huge differentiator that I neglected to mention earlier is that, we have the 5.9 SLA, that's money back guaranteed to our customers across all platforms, right? And I think that's just that point alone is elimination of a big headache for organization, regardless the size.
Right on. Awesome. So if somebody wanted to take advantage of your services, how can you walk us through kind of like what an implementation process would be like? How fast is it? What's the methodology behind it? I mean, do you guys have a project manager that would be assigned to the account? What does that look like if somebody wanted to jump on board with 8x8?
Yeah. So first off, if there is an emergency, we have gotten people up and running within a 24-hour time frame.
Amazing.
Porting numbers is typically, as you know, it just doesn't happen that quickly, but we can outfit an organization with some temporary numbers and have their assigned phone numbers pointed to them. So we have been able to do that, but it starts with you guys working alongside with our 8x8 AE to ensure that we're delivering the correct solution to our mutual customer, right? And going from there. Once the deal is finalized, we always hand it off to the project manager, who
Mhm.
again handholds everything through in terms of making sure that uh, the instance of the system is correctly set up, the numbers are ported on the correct date, and the timing on that, as you know, is extremely delicate and needs a lot of TLC to make it work right. And thankfully, we have some terrific people on our ops team as well on the project management team that handhold that through.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of just piggybacking on that, we've as our separate organizations, Stratosphere and 8x8, we've had some great wins together.
Yeah.
We've collaborated on a lot of projects across all verticals. Is there anything that comes to mind, that maybe you want to talk about for our listeners? Maybe one that we like a good win story that we had recently.
Yeah. So we let me, we've had so many good wins together, Joe. But most recent, we had a great win with Atos Medical. And originally, they started out as what we call a combo opportunity that we're looking at both unified communications and contact center. Um, they were a global organization, so our footprint across the world bode really well with them. Um, as we were engaging with the customer, that C word hit, right? And the pandemic was basically in full swing.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
the customer had reservations of what the future looks like. So initially, they wound up subscribing to 8x8 strictly on the UC side, and then came back to us, as you know, about a year and a half later, to
Hmm.
also incorporate the contact center piece into the rollout. I think the fact that we're able to deliver both the UC and the contact center portions of it were huge factors in us winning that deal together. Um, I think the fact that we had great presence in Europe and across the pond, as they had quite a bit of presence out there, was also a big piece of it. But that was one of the better ones we recently had together for sure.
It was a big boy, if I recall. I think there was a couple hundred UCaaS seats, and then a little over 100 contact center agents.
Yeah, to be exact, it was around 350 unified communication seats, and then followed up by 120 contact center seats.
Love it, love it, love it, man. No, I just want to say, personally for me, I've had some smaller ones with you guys that have just been that have been really great, and I just kind of want to plug you guys for a minute because sometimes the smaller ones can be the most challenging. And from my experience with you guys and my customers' experience with you guys, what really resonated with me kind of goes back to what you were talking about with the implementation process. Project management was stellar. This was another medical company here locally, actually in Chicagoland, and the guy, the contact on the customer side is just tech savvy enough, to get things done. But you guys, your PM team just meshed so well with him and knew exactly where to pick up where he kind of left off, and it just made for a super smooth process. I mean, and I know they're super happy. So kudos to 8x8 for that.
I appreciate that, Joe, and that's great to hear. But that engagement could not have been as smooth as it was without Stratosphere's hand in it, right? You guys do a phenomenal job at hand-holding the customer through the experience and guiding them along the way. Whether they have a lot of tech resources on board or not, you
Mhm.
guys really do a stellar job in hand-holding the customer through.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I appreciate that, and sir, I very much appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us today. It's always
Yeah,
great
for
to get your
sure.
perspective on things. And thank you to all of our listeners. Stay tuned for our next episode of Strat Xtra, where we are going to discuss secure work strategies with Stratosphere's CIO, Kevin Rubin. I'm Joe Williams. I'll see you next time. Thanks, Alex.
Hi, Joe.
I'm just going to stop recording.
Yeah.
There we go. Stop recording.